thought we got a good work day today. Continuing to try to implement the corrections, trying to put guys in challenging situations to see the response. There's some good, there's some bad today, but all in all, I thought we got some good work, and it was an introduction to some things from a game plan perspective. There were some things that that we had that were to see guys be in challenging situations, to see how they would respond from some of the things that we're seeing in the game, just trying to continue to build upon that. So we'll go back and watch film and continue to push and correct.
From an energy perspective, did you like what you saw today?
I thought we got good work. There were some times where we lowered the thought at times, but I thought all in all we got some good work today.
Are you eager to see what the offense is doing? It's not penalties or
I mean, we have examples of it. I mean, and I read them off the other day. If you look at the drives where we don't have a penalty or a turnover, pretty good production. You look at drives that we don't, it's not. Same thing defense. I mean, but those are things we talk about in the in fall camp. Those things we point out. At the end of the day, we've got to go apply it. And right now it's just words until we do it.
Last year you had a lot of success, scoring on opening drives, about temperament, opening play script, that sort of thing. What would you say? I know turnovers and penalties have gotten in the way of some of the things you want to do this year, but how would you kind of evaluate the way that's gone this year?
Yeah, I kind of addressed that yesterday. Very similar question. I think when you look at the opening drive, it's something that we have a plan. We've had some missed opportunities. Things that take pride in how we start games and the plan that we try to implement. Last game we had a fumble in the second play, which it obviously derails that. We had a drop pass the week before. Week one we were put in a challenging situation and had a couple of negatives that made that tough. You look at the second half drives. We've seen movement, but we haven't been able to finish for a variety of different reasons. So we're trying to score every time we get the ball, and that's something we're going to continue to work on. And we got to do a better job as coaches and putting guys in position to do that. We got to execute when we get those opportunities.
What things are you doing this week to try to help that offensive line?
Sir?
What things did you do today to try to give your line a little bit better?
Yeah, well, at practice we had a couple more combinations that got presented to us, so we were trying to we have to limit some because we're really light on numbers right now. So it got to that point where a handful of guys, there's some guys that have not played for us. We're taking a good number of reps, so we got to make sure that we're keeping things in a way that they can go out there and execute. We have a plan of what we need to do, and we started implementing some of the things. Some specifics I'm not going to get into, but we obviously got to play better there. Rob Scott did move around today, which was good. So we'll see where he is as we progress through the week.
Seems like the running backs were a bit more involved in the passing game this week. Is that something you're making more of a conscious effort to do, or is that just more of a case of taking what the defense gives you in a particular week?
I mean, that's something that's throughout my coaching career has always been a big role of that with just our running backs and the options they are in the backfield. People, as you watch film, people know that too, and so there's some times where there's a heightened awareness of where those guys are. This last week, we were able to get the ball to them in some of those situations, but at the end of the day, just trying to take what the defense gives us, but they're always going to be a role in our passing game, whether they're in protection and getting out, or sometimes when we free release them.
Kind of uncertain about Jordan's status going into the weekend. Would Chuba, I guess, be the backup if he were unavailable? I guess how valuable has kind of the extended practice time he's gotten this year been?
I mean, if Jordan's not available, then Chuba will definitely be the next guy in, and Chuba's worked really hard, and there's still. He still has his freshman moments that in practice, but I mean, I love the progression I've seen. To get him to be able to go through a fall camp, to have these practices, and we still are keeping him very involved in those, and it's I'm excited for what his future is. He understands that he's got to be ready, and he's been approaching that in meetings. He's getting better, more confident in the things we're asking him to do. But like I said, I'm excited about his progression.
You mentioned confidence with Chuba. Is that just a matter of getting these repetitions consistently?
That's and Chuba played games. He started a game last year, so it's not like I've never seen him out there. Haven't seen him out there with a ton of practice reps, but I think just the consistency of what we ask him to do in practice, and where he has that where he's seeing it just a little bit quicker, trusting the things. Anytime if he has a check or a possibility, just the confidence in being able to make that. But he's been put in a lot of time. I'm seeing some great growth from him, so definitely excited about the steps he's taking.
You've had 3 weeks of preparing with the two quarterbacks. Could there be a benefit in focusing everything maybe tailored to one guy if that's the case?
We'll see how everything plays out. I think once again, everything we do is because we believe it's what's best to help win games. And there's my entire coaching career, I've always split rep quarterbacks, and so when it comes to practice reps, it's not like one of those guys has not gotten reps of certain things. I mean, when you get late in the week, if there's an addition, if there's something that you put in, yes, that would be the opportunity, and that shows up sometimes. It actually showed up last week. So, but for the most part of it, those things shouldn't affect you as much. But we'll see how that plays out if that's the case here this week.
Do you like what you're hearing from the quarterbacks between reps during practice, or are they seeing things, or the communication better in terms of understanding concepts?
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned that they don't understand concepts.
I wasn't hinting that, but are you seeing growth from them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every rep that a guy gets, he's gonna the processing of what he sees. They understand the concepts. They understand where they're being asked to go involved. It's sometimes the finer details of when you can take your first, when you need to progress off to the next read. Those are all things that anybody that gets experience, whether it's a freshman or a senior, that's why the importance of those reps and walkthroughs and film study. And these guys are definitely investing in time.
You talked about identity on offense. Is that something that the coaches can determine, or do you have to?
There's something coaches can desire, right? But players, we've got to go live it out. And our identity of our Florida State football team is to be disciplined, hardworking, relentless, and we haven't seen consistent, disciplined play that we're capable of. And that's, so right now it sounds good, but we have to go apply it. From a coaching staff, from players, from everybody involved. There's nothing I ever say or nothing that we do in a program that's not directed to me. We have to be disciplined and every day coming out as a coaching staff and making sure we're holding guys to the standard, make sure we're pushing, make sure we're encouraging, uplifting. That's a part of it. But then it's about the response of the application. And when you play young players, when you have different combinations that come in and maybe not the continuity at times, on the field, that's where those repetitions help. We faced some adverse situations. We've had some failures, and kind of to my point yesterday is that we cannot let those go to waste. And when you make a mistake, when you don't maybe trust the fundamental, or you don't, you try with all the right intentions and you get stuck, not doing something that you have prepared for. That's where you have to be able to apply that moving forward. And it's just like with a coach. You do it each game. You do it between drives. Offense, defense, special teams. You evaluate what are you doing, and then you have to be disciplined to be able to apply the correction of what you see. And that's where we're moving towards. And like I said, I believe in these guys, in what we're doing and how we're going about the process of growth. But we've got to do a better job of letting that show up, so it is the identity of who we are.
Having the referees out here, what are the benefits, I guess, of that? Is that something you plan to continue to do throughout the season?
It's something, I know we talked about it yesterday, and that's something that we don't have a full group, and it's challenging with the two fields. But there are times that just to be able to emphasize, and even some individual opportunities, just things that. Because I don't actually talk to the officials when they come out here. I want them to call it as they see it. But it is definitely when a kid hears a coach asking to use a certain technique and the reasons for that, and then if it doesn't show up on the field and there's a penalty thrown or there's something that puts you in a tougher position, it's another opportunity for a lesson. And what we got to do is we got to take those lessons and apply them. But it does definitely reaffirm some of the things of what we're trying to do and accomplish. All right, thank you guys.